City, your biggest winners this past weekend as they move into the top three, with Fulham and West Brom both dropping points. But what's in store in midweek? We'll take a look at it next. That's right, folks, back once again on a prediction video today. We look forward to match number 7 in the Championship, and we'll get to it in just one second. If you're new, where you been, smash your subscribe and hit your bang today with all things Championship related, Blackburn Rovers related, whoa, football related. We got it all here, boys, under one rooski. That's right, of course, the big boys, West Brom, Fulham, dropping points this past weekend, as of course the likes of Stoke and Coventry had big wins to move them into the playoff spots. We'll take a look at that and more in just a second. Of course, before all that, I want a big shout out to my brothers from another mothers. That's right, my Patreons. And we got 2 brand new patrons this past week. Well done, Connor Medlin into the gang. Well done, Wendell. Well done, Andrew Watton as well. Well done. Of course, 2 brand new patrons just coming in last week. So there you go. Big thank you to you guys. Now I want to talk a little bit about the picture, of course, what's in store. I'm actually revamping the perks and privileges over the next the coming weeks. Kicking all off with some exclusive first look content for patrons and patrons only. I am starting a brand new channel. It is a daily vlogging sort of thing. The behind the scenes setup, what goes on, how things work around here, how things work in my life when I'm not on camera, when I go down the road, when we go travelling, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to have a daily account of ourselves, but of course the patrons will have first look access maybe a week ahead of everybody else. So if you are interested in some of that and more, there are going to be more perks to being a patron as well. Make sure you check out the link down below, patreon.com/overseas. But again, that channel yet to get going. I'm working on the construction of the channel, of course, getting the right equipment and setup and all that kind of stuff. But before you even know it, we'll be out there doing daily vlogs. That's right, because we've got a lot going on behind the scenes. When I talk about things like, we could be moving very soon, so that could be an interesting thing to develop a new job on the horizon as well. So there's a lot of things in the pipeline, and that could take place over the next year or so. But anyway, that's the vlogging channel starting very soon. But again, early door access to the patrons. But anyway, let's get cracking then, shall we? And have a little look back at last weekend's. Massive weekend for the teams. Some teams you wouldn't have expected. Of course, Blackburn rose to a 2-goal lead away to give Luton Town a point. But these are the stories that matter last weekend. Bournemouth, big winners over Barnsley, put them in tip-top shape as well. 3-0 win over Barnsley, puts them to 5th of the table. At the moment, I went with the 1-0 win myself. Birmingham picked up a win against Derby County, of course, puts them in a bit of trouble as well. Not the best bit of form for them, but they're around about 15th and 16th, both Barnsley and Derby at the moment. Blackburn threw away 2-goal lead to Luton Town. We talked about that already. With the 2-0 win, and it would have been bang on the nose if they would have held tight, but they didn't. Blackpool massive winners over Fulham, unbelievable. Of course, Fulham of course were in the top 2. They are in the top 2, but of course that's not what they were expecting. I went with a draw myself. Meanwhile, Bristol City and Preston ended up as all square as well. Nothing to see here. Coventry big winners over Middlesbrough. That's right, 2-0 win down the Rico. Meanwhile, Reading against QPR 6-goal thriller, 3 apiece. Went with a 3-1 with myself for QPR. Forest, they're in a bit of trouble, aren't they, down the foot of the table with just 1 point after the first 6 games. They took the lead of the game against Cardiff City, but ultimately has a 2-1 win for Cardiff. Sheffield Utd big winners, despite going behind against Peterborough. 6-2 win in the end for the Blades. They're up and running as well, up to 18th now. Stoke City big winners as well. They move into the top 3. We talked about that already. 1-0 win was my pick. Swansea against Hull, all square 0-0, of course, and West Brom against Millwall, all square 1-1. They gave a 3-1 win for myself. Not too bad. Well, I actually did pretty terrible with my picks, just 4, which is pretty miserable. We'll take a look at where that would put me in the table. But this is the actual table right here, right now, the Championship. Of course, as you can see, West Brom are top of the pops at the moment with yet to taste defeat. QPR yet to taste defeat, as are Bournemouth as well. The only 3 teams yet to lose this season. West Brom have a 1-point lead over Fulham and Stoke. QPR still in the mix as well, as are Bournemouth, Coventry as well, and Birmingham doing fantastic. Rovers down to 10th right now. A win for us midweek, and if everything else goes our way, we could be up as high as 4th. As for our opposition, we are going to be taking on Hull, who are all the way down into 20th. I've also got match preview of that. We're going to do a watch along as well, special watch along. Come and check it out. If you want to see a little bit of a different kind of watch along, come check me out on Tuesday. We're going to do rib cam. That's why we're going to be outside grilling, because the ribs do take some time, maybe 2-3 hours. So we're going to be out there cooking some ribs while we're doing the watch along. That's the plan anyway. If it doesn't happen, then I'll shit the bed or something like that. Anyway, let's get into it. Of course, this is the leaderboard. The fourth would have got me around about 24th, which is not good. Creamy Jordan's up there at the top there with 8 out of 12. Not too shabby. Gaming Charmy and Leeds 2021. Karma Gucking up there as well with 7 as well. So not too shabby for those guys. There's Conor Medlin, a new patron. Well done to you, lad. What about the overall grand scheme of things? Here he is. This is the leaderboard. Creamy Jordan's up there as well. 38. So far, so good. Theo's up there now with 36 as well. Judy, Shane O'Donnell and Winky with 33. Alex Weller, Conor Medlin, Leeds 2021. Max Shangavi and Waxwagons as well. Also in the top 7 in there. So it is still a lot on the table, so make sure you get involved with that as well. So here we go. Let's get involved with the next round of matches. Hopefully the computer is ready for me. In fact, here's a recap of the details if you want to get involved. If you've never even heard of it, it is the prediction. It is free to enter. Of course, there is predictors of the month. Again, we're coming at you quite fast here, so I can't really talk about that too much. We'll hopefully next time around we'll talk about the winner of the predictor of the month, what that's actually given them what they've won, sort of thing. It's not really a prize, but it's kind of a shot at something. But we'll talk about that next time around. It's just madness right now, trying to keep up with all these leagues. So anyway, we're going to kick it all off with a bit of a banger. Of course, take a look at the next round of matches. I'm going to start right here, right now at Bournemouth, taking on QPR at the Vitality Stadium. Of course, taking place on Tuesday. Of course, the games are coming thick and fast, so we're going to be in like Flynn to get in there with your predictions. Of course, especially the 7 times 2003, 3 wins apiece and 1 draw. The biggest win for Bournemouth, in fact, was a 1-0 win. The biggest win for QPR over Bournemouth was a 3-0 win. QPR coming to this unbeaten the last 6, 83% for. Meanwhile, Bournemouth coming to this just 1 win the past 4 for them. Of course, that 1 win was last time around. Heading into this last time around, they played each other in the Vitality. It was a 0-0 draw back in October 2020. That was last season. The away side hasn't won this competition in competitive action, so the home side is favoured, both home and away, Loftus Road and Vitality. Of course, QPR comes to this on the back of that draw against Reading 3-3. Meanwhile, Bournemouth also comes to this on the back of a win against Barnsley 3-0. Look at the odds on this one. We do have Bournemouth coming out to 2019 on. They are your favourites, 5-2 is draw and 3-1 is your long shots. That's of course QPR. For me, I'm going to go with the hosts on this one. Bournemouth to take it to the bank. Next up, we have Blackburn Rovers against Hull City at Ewood Park. Back-to-back home games, of course, for Rovers. And I'll have an extensive match preview of this match, of course. Make sure you check that out. And again, the watch along should be live on Tuesday, of course. John Brooks is your referee. Do not shit on my bloody boys here. Anyway, these two celebrations are 13 times since 2008. 7 wins for Rovers, 3 for Hull, 3 draws. The biggest win for Rovers was the 3-0 win. The biggest win the other way was a 2-0 win. Coming into this, Hull are actually without a win in 6. Meanwhile, Rovers are just 1 win in 6. So not great for us either. Heading into this, of course, last time around, of course, Rovers did pick up a 3-0 win. We've actually won 4 in the bounce against Hull City. Last time Hull won was back in 2018 in the FA Cup. Rovers coming to the back of that 2-2 draw against Luton. Of course, Hull coming to also on the back of the draw against Swansea. Back-to-back away matches for Hull. At the moment, the odds of Rovers on this one, 21-20 for the victory. Are your favourites, 5-2 is your draw, 5-2 is your away win. That is, of course, Hull City. Going to go with the 2-0 win for Rovers on this one. Get back to winning ways. Meanwhile, Blackpool, of course, hopefully they can build on their win against Fulham, taking on Huddersfield this midweek. Played each other 16 times since 2003. 6 wins apiece, or 6 wins for Blackpool, 5 wins for Huddersfield, and 5 draws. The biggest win for Blackpool over Huddersfield was a 6-3 win. The biggest win the other way was a 4-2 win. Last time around, though, at Blackpool, at Bloomfield Rovers, a 1-0 win for Blackpool. That was back in March 2014. Of course, just 1 win in 6 for them. Meanwhile, 2 defeats and 2 wins in the past 4 games for Huddersfield. Huddersfield going on the back of that loss against Stoke. Of course, Blackpool picking up the Fulham win last time out. Odds on this was 7-4 is your Blackpool, 70-10 is your Huddersfield, and 11-5 is your draw. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win for the hosts on this one. Back-to-back wins for Blackpool, and of course, moving the bloody chains. Another team looking for back-to-back wins will be Sheffield United, of course, at Bramall Lane. They've played Preston 38 times since the year 2000, 16 wins for the Blades, 10 wins for PNE, and of course 12 draws. The biggest win for Sheffield United was a 4-2 win, the biggest win the other way was a 3-0 win. Last time around, they played each other, of course, over at Bramall Lane in a competitive action. Was a 3-2 win for Sheffield United back in September 2018. What am I looking at here? They come into the Sheffield United actually unbeaten in the last 3, picking up a couple of wins. Of course, probably including the Carabao Cup. Meanwhile, Preston unbeaten in the last 4, picking up 3 wins and a draw to boot. They're coming to us on the back of that draw against Bristol City. Of course, Sheffield United beat Peterborough last round. The odds on this one, 20-17 on for Sheffield United. Maybe they've got the hoodoo off their back and they're going to start climbing the table now. As for Preston, their odds are 50-4 for the victory. 23-10 is your draw. Of course, Sheffield United will win this one. Back-to-back wins, and of course, maybe they are realistic competitors for promotion again after a bit of a wobbly start. Next, of course, Reading against Peterborough, which are the 6 times in 2009, 3 wins apiece. The biggest win for either of the two sides is a 6-0 over each other. Of course, coming into this, Reading with 1 win out of the past 6 games. Meanwhile, Peterborough coming to this with 1 win in the past 6 games. Identical kind of form here, 25% form. Last round over at Peterborough, no scrap that, and the Bajayski. It was a 3-2 win for Reading. That's back in August 2012. Of course, Reading coming to us back at that 6-goal thriller against QPR, which they drew. Meanwhile, Peterborough coming to us after the 8-goal thriller, which they lost against Sheffield United. The bookies odds on this one, 7-5 is your Reading, 23-10 is your draw. 2-1 is your Peterborough on this. Going to go with a win for Reading on this one to, of course, stretch their, actually make it a couple of games unbeaten for them. West Brom against Derby County, of course, also on Tuesday night. These two sides played each other 90 times since 1993. 6 wins for West Brom, 8 wins for Derby, and 5 draws. The biggest win for the Baggies, a 2-0 win. The biggest win there was a 4-1 win. Of course, the Baggies coming to just 1 defeat in the past 6 games. Meanwhile, Derby coming to just 1 win in 6 games for them. Of course, last round at the Hawthorns was a 2-0 win for West Brom. That's back in July 2020. They came to us on the back of that draw against Millwall at home. Of course, this is back-to-back home games for them. Meanwhile, Derby comes to us at the back of that loss against Birmingham. Of course, the odds on this one, 50-8 on is your West Brom, 29-10 is your draw, 11-2 is your Derby County on this. Going to go with a 3-0 win for the Baggies on this one to take it to the bank. Into Wednesday we go. Wednesday the 15th of September. It'll be Birmingham up against Fulham over at St Andrews. Played 32 times since 1999. 9 wins for Birmingham. Of course, 12 wins for Fulham and 11 draws. The biggest win for the Brummies. 5-2 win. The biggest win the other way was a 2-0 win. Coming into this, of course, Birmingham last round lost to Fulham. It was in the EFL Cup at St Andrews back in August 2021. That was this season already. They've already played each other this season. They come into this just 1 defeat in the past 4 games. Meanwhile, Fulham just 1 defeat in 6. Of course, that 1 defeat was last round against Blackpool. Of course, Blackpool coming in, Birmingham coming to us on the back of that win against Birmingham. Look at the odds, 40-5 is your Brommies, 23-10 is your draw, 20-10 is your Fulham. They are your favourites on the road as well. Going to go with a 3-1 win for the Cottagers on this one to take it to the house. Next, of course, we have Bristol City up against Luton Town. This will take place at Thrashton Gate. Bristol 15 times since 1993. 4 wins for the Bristol City, the Robins, and of course 7 wins for the Hatters, aka Luton Town. 4 draws as well. Biggest win for Bristol City was a 3-0 win. The biggest win for Luton Town was a 5-0 win. Of course, the Robins come to just 1 defeat in the past 4 games. Luton Town just 1 win in the past 4 games. Back-to-back draws for them heading into this. Last time around over at Thrashton Gate was a 3-2 win for Luton. That was back in April 2021. Of course, those back-to-back draws for Luton include draws against Sheffield United and of course Blackburn Bloody Rovers. As for Bristol City, they came to us on the back of an unbeaten run of 2 games as well, picking up a win against Cardiff and also a draw against Preston last time around. The odds on this one, 11-8 is your Bristol City, 11-5 is your, 20-10 is your Luton Town. Quite tight on the odds. Going to go with the draw myself. 1-1 for me. Coventry City against Cardiff. Let's get into this one then, shall we? They've played each other 23 times since 2003. 5 wins for Coventry, 11 wins for Cardiff, and 7 draws. The biggest win for Coventry, 3-0 win. The biggest win in the way is a 3-1 win. Last round, of course, over in the Rico, or maybe even at St Andrews, was a 1-0 win for Coventry. That was back in November 2020. Of course, Coventry just 1 defeat the past 4 games for them. Meanwhile, Cardiff 2 defeats the past 6 for them. Not too shabby. Both around about 50-58% form for the two sides. Of course, Cardiff comes to the back of that late win against Nottingham Forest. Meanwhile, Coventry coming up to the back of that win against Middlesbrough. The odds on this one, we have Coventry 65 for the victory, 25 is your Cardiff, 23-10 is your draw. Coventry are your favourites on this one. Going to go with a draw myself, 2-2. In the end, Forest up against Middlesbrough. It's the Karanka Derby. That's right. Of course, played each other 33 times since 1993. 11 wins for Forest, 8 wins for Borough, and 14 draws. Of course, Forest coming to 8% form, no wins in sight. Meanwhile, Middlesbrough just 1 win in 5 for them. Actually 1 win in 6 as well, 33% form. Last round over at the City Ground was a 2-1 win for Borough. In fact, Borough are unbeaten in 4 matches against Nottingham Forest. Forest's last win was back in April 2019 at the City Ground. Of course, speaking of Forest, coming to us on the back of that loss against Cardiff. Of course, Middlesbrough coming to us at the back of that loss against Coventry. The odds on this one, 90-10 is your Forest, 21-10 is your draw, 31-20 is your away win. That's Borough. It's tight on the bookies. I think I'm going to go with a win for Forest. They've got to win sometime. I think they're going to win this one right here, right now. Swansea take on Millwall. Let's get into this badger then, shall we? These two sides play each other 13 times 2006. 7 wins for Swansea, 3 for Millwall, 3 draws. The biggest win for Swansea, 3-0 win. The biggest win the other way is a 2-0 win. Coming into this form-wise, Swansea just one defeat the past 4 games. Meanwhile, Millwall unbeaten in the last 3. Of course, what are we looking at here? Last time around over in Millwall was a 3-0 win, sorry. Scrap that. Last time around in Wales was a 2-1 win for Swansea. Swansea unbeaten in the last 3 games against Millwall, picking up a couple of wins and a draw to boot. Of course, Swansea coming to this after the back of that draw against Hull, 0-0. Millwall coming to this at the back of that draw against the Baggies. Have a look at the odds in just a second. What else have I got for you? I think that's pretty much it on this one. The odds on this one is 8-5 is your Swansea, 90-10 is your Millwall, 20-10 is your draw. For me, I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw on this one, of course, over at in Wales. And then finally, of course, we have Stoke City up against Barnsley. Let's take a look at this one now, shall we? Of course, played 16 times since 1993, 6 wins for Barnsley, 5 for Stoke, 5 draws. Of course, the biggest win for Stoke over Barnsley was a 4-0 win. The biggest win there was a 3-0 win. Of course, Stoke coming to just one defeat past 6 games, 75% for. Meanwhile, Barnsley without a win in 4. They're coming into this last round over at the Bet365 stadium. It was a 2-2 draw back into October 2020. Stoke last round beating Huddersfield. Of course, Barnsley losing to Bournemouth. Of course, I don't think I've got odds on this one, but I believe Stoke are going to be your favourites on this one. They are your favourites quite heavily as well. So Barnsley, your underdogs. Going to go with a 2-1 win for Stoke on this one, of course, and that will put them probably potentially top of the pops, depending on what goes on with Fulham and, of course, West Brom. But that's the situation for me. Let me know your thoughts, of course. And again, get your picks right here, right now, using the savvy code Cutley/Championship. And, of course, that is pretty much all I've got for you. Again, we'll be back midweek, Wednesday, Thursday for the next round of matches. And, of course, make sure you smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe, check the links down below. I'm on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and, of course, Patreon as well. Be sure to give the video some love, and, of course, check out those links. Again, if you want to become a member of the Patreon, join the likes of Conor Medlin, Andrew Watton as well, for becoming the latest member of the Patreon gang. Make sure you check out the link down below, patreon.com/Roverseas. But that's it. Can Rovers bounce back? Can the big 3 stay the big 3? But of course, what about the bottom half of the table? Will Forest finally get the win to get them moving in the right direction? But we'll hopefully have an answer to all of that the next time around. Until then, I'll see you soon. Be safe, mask up, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'm out of here. We're done.